to a GSL.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Code S with Code A, excuse me. Start the show over. I'm too excited to go on to Code S. We have the last day of Code A here. And after today, we're going to be wrapping this up. We'll know who the 32 players are going to be in Code S.
That's right. That's pretty exciting, actually, to finally get Season 2 ready to go. That's going to be obviously a great season. So far, we have like mostly Terrans, but based on the matchups today, we're not going to get too many more Terrans, right? There's possibly 2 more, I guess. But
I don't believe the Terrans here today have as good of a chance of moving on, but we'll see. We'll see how it actually turns out. It's been a fantastic Code A. We've had a lot of very good games. I do love our best-of-5 format that we're doing here. I think it really allows the better player to get through, someone who would actually be delivering quality games, especially in the round of 8, round of 4, and so forth. Yeah,
that's what we want to see. So you really got to bring your skill if you're going to make it into Code S. So best-of-5, you can't just slip by.
Absolutely not. We do have an event going on. Thanks for the medium. Is going to be the code that you can put in there. Do we give a medium now?
You guys are spoiled.
You guys are spoiled. You guys get too much. Download the GOMTV app. That's news to me. If we're actually giving you guys medium now, but go ahead and get that app and punch that code.
I never stamped that order.
Yeah, go check out our app, though. We got a lot of great stuff on there. It's a great way that you can keep up with the VODs.
You can get the VODs within 24 hours. And that's without a paying ticket. So that's a pretty sick way to do it. But all right, so 12 Terrans, 8 Protoss, 9 Zerg. We're definitely going to have Protoss advance today as well. We do have a PvP, so.
Unless they both lose,
right?
Just go out.
Yeah, no, we do have a PvP.
Yeah. So, not bad. A fairly balanced distribution. And
yeah, it's pretty good.
Arctos was saying, with another Protoss guaranteed to go through, this is sizing up to be a pretty well-balanced Code S.
It'll be a little bit Terran heavy, but that's fine.
And that could
a lot of good Terran players out there right now, really.
And that could change very quickly once we go into the round of 16. Sometimes we have a lot of Terrans eliminated, and all of a sudden it's Protoss heavy or Zerg heavy. So we'll see how it unfolds.
Well, today's match, guys, as you see, that PvP is going to be MC versus Trust at the end. I'm sure everyone's really excited to see can MC hit Code S once again. But starting off, we're going to have MarineKing going up against Patience. I think that's actually a really good match.
MarineKing, one of the fan favorites.
Yeah.
Definitely an OG in StarCraft II.
No doubt about that.
But he has had some off and on moments in StarCraft II. He actually switched to League temporarily, League of Legends.
Yep.
And then decided to come back. Had good success coming back. But the big question is, with all the Korean players back here, and although the GSL was always the best StarCraft II tournament in the world, it is much more competitive now than ever before.
Certainly.
With the changes in WCS, we have a lot more Korean players coming back here competing on the home turf, which makes Code S a real slugfest.
Yeah.
To get out of that is tough.
And in fact, one of the players he's playing against played in Europe for a very long time, Patience. And he's actually, both these guys have been playing well recently. Like, MarineKing, of course, had that sick run through, the Kespa Cup. Or no, not Kespa Cup, Hot 6 Cup.
Yeah.
And Patience, of course, had an insane run through the qualifier for IEM World Finals, even though he got 3-0'd by Maru when he got there. It's Maru, though, so.
Yeah, no shame in losing to Maru.
No, certainly not.
Curious against Bravo. I expect Curious to move on.
Yeah, Bravo's good, though. He's quite a good Terran, but Curious definitely has always been kind of like a step up. Curious is like the guy that always makes it through Code A. The king of Code A, actually, is what they call him.
He is someone who we've seen since the beginning, really.
Yeah.
Curious has always been around. He's always been consistently good. I'd say he's overshadowed by a lot of the other Zergs. I was saying that a few years ago. I'll still say that now, as he hasn't had as much of a big splash.
You're like a broken record saying that about Curious. Twice a day, Tastes calls me up. That's all he says. He hangs up the phone. It's really weird.
I don't even say hello or anything.
Curious is overshadowed by other Zergs, hangs up. I'm like, oh my God.
Then you see a text saying, check your email. And there it is, an email of the same thing.
And then I get an email saying, check your text. And then it's the same thing.
Arctos has been waiting years to report me for having a mental disorder here. I should actually be in a psych ward. So here's MarineKing now.
Yeah.
This guy came out dominant because his micro was so good. He, in a sense, was the Slayer's boxer of StarCraft II.
Which is hilarious because he started out his StarCraft II career with the IB boxer.
Now, of course, some of you might be saying, but didn't Slayer's Boxer play in StarCraft II as well? Yes, but
that's why he changed his name to MarineKing.
The success that MarineKing had in StarCraft II is comparable to what Slayer's Boxer had in Brood War.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Slayer's Boxer won a bunch of tournaments right off, and it took MarineKing a while to win.
Yeah.
But he was like really one of the better Terrans for a very long time. I also want to point out for people that may not remember, like he was named Boxer. They were both in the same season. He was even in the interviews with me in between breaks. He was saying, "Yeah, Boxer's like my hero. Like I really want to be like him. He's such a great player." And eventually, like it was decided that he would change his ID. And I remember he agreed in an interview once to change his ID to what the foreigner fans wanted, and then they like voted or something. And he didn't do it. He went with MarineKing.
What was voted in for the ID?
I'm trying to remember.
I vaguely remember.
Someone tweeted at me. I know there's like a really old school hardcore
so
guy.
many games we've casted over the last four
this
and
was
a half
like
years.
This is season 2 that this happened, so it's like
and that's
over
back
4
when
years
we
ago.
crank seasons out much quicker than we do now.
Yeah.
Now we have a much more steady program going on here, but at the time I think we were a little StarCraft II crazy.
Yeah, we used
back
to
in the early days.
we used to
had,
pump out
7
GSLs like it was
in a year,
like it was chalk or something, you know.
Yeah.
Just had a whole factory pumping out GSLs. Amount of forests we had to kill to make all those GSLs.
Number of trees that had to die for those GSLs. Here's our map lineup. It's going to be Bonnie Research Station, King Sejong Station, Iron Fortress, Overgrowth, and Deadwing.
All right. Interesting to see that Iron Fortress is going to be one of the maps. I'm not too surprised. Patience wants to take out the slightly smaller map that is Merry-Go-Round. Patience has been a very aggressive, cheesy type of Protoss.
He doesn't live up to his ID, that's for sure.
Oh, you're completely right about that. This guy will go for your throat. So we'll see if that works against MarineKing. Like MarineKing, his TvP has been pretty spot on against Cheese. That's how he got so far in Hot 6 Cup. Until, of course, SOS, the king of cheese, came and showed him a thing or two about what it is to be rushed. But I don't know. I think this is actually quite a good match. I'm not sure which way it'll go.
It'll be tough to see. I think it'll just depend on MarineKing's handling of the early game. Historically, MarineKing is somebody you can usually hard counter with builds early game.
Yeah.
This is especially when he was going command center first against Zergs and Protoss at the time. I don't know if we're going to have that as much. I believe we might have a small delay here. We'll see if both players are okay. It's either the problem with the 2 players we have on screen or the players that are preparing right now. Okay, it's actually fine. We don't have a delay. Never mind. Okay. So, game number 1 is going to be on Bonnie Research Station.
Cool. Of course, this map can be a little bit droppable, but very easy to take your natural on.
Sure.
It's can be tough though if you're like a little bit observer light. Like the point from like with the spotter pylon where you see the medevacs to where they drop off and hit the nexus is so short. It's like it becomes quite droppable in the late game. So we'll see how that works out. MarineKing has been a very aggressive Terran throughout his career.
And his aggression is oftentimes a double-edged sword. Sometimes it works for him, he does the damage, he gets in there, he gets back out. Other times, he is losing swaths of units everywhere.
Certainly.
And he's feeding, man. He might have gotten that from League there, but that's sometimes he's feeding the other side pretty hard there. Well, we are moments away from getting this match started. Looks like MarineKing just has to get his earbuds in there. And the headphones they put over that is for soundproofing.
Do you have that too? Do you use earbuds often?
I'm switching to earbuds, actually.
Yeah, I use
for my
earbuds
PC.
quite a bit, but actually I have a really nice headset now. It's like really cool, but...
What kind of headset is it?
A Bose.
A Bose.
Yeah, it's like super nice.
It's super expensive. I don't know if you want to say the
it
price
was pretty
on air,
expensive,
but
yeah. I got it for my birthday. It was
I got a Beats by Dre headset, so they suck.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I was actually quite disappointed.
Actually, Moonglade got one and told me not to get one.
Yeah.
He was like my canary in the coal mine for that. Because I wanted to get a nice headset. But
I don't know if I got the wrong pair or something. I just assumed it wouldn't matter, but no, I would.
The Bose headset I got was like, I think $180 or something like that.
Okay, I paid
really
way,
high
I paid way more
Maybe
for my
200?
Beats by Dre headset, and I was...
It's for my birthday, so I'm not 100% sure, but like, really nice. I like it.
It's time to begin our first best of 5. MarineKing against Patience, the winner. It's one of the last 3 spots, in the GSL Code S in the north.
MVP MarineKing.
But I guess what I was asking, now that you're using earbuds, you see how he like looked down at both of them and he like stared at them for like 2-3 seconds? He's like, which ears? I do that every time.
Well, you don't want to put him in the wrong way.
No.
It's, Wake up one day and your ears run backwards.
Dead pixels.
That could
patience.
actually, in all like the modern games and stuff, that could actually affect you because you will hear things coming from the wrong side.
Yeah.
And that could definitely mess you up because you're used to like hearing things come from the correct areas and whatnot.
Welcome to the studio,
welcome.
guys. Thanks for coming down.
Hope that you enjoy today's wonderful set of games. You chose a good day of Code A for
By
sure.
the way, let's just leave the camera on them for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Now down here. Oh, I actually just went back and introing the players. Well,
that's all right.
Tasteless is just a,
you're just
buggy
warming up.
computer program here.
You're warming up. By the third set, you should be
By the last
ready to go home.
The last game of the third set, I should be okay.
Imagine if you aren't though. It's like, oh God, how long
That's
is
okay.
it?
Code A's over with. I got out scot-free.
If it goes any longer than that, you're like, well, I'm tired. I don't know.
All right. I do love this map. This is actually probably my favorite new map that we've had in a little while.
Yeah, this map, I'm really enjoying this map, I do have to say. I think it's like really interesting, its design in a lot of ways. Like I personally am a hater on gold bases, but I find it interesting where this gold base is. I don't normally like expansions that are like inside the main, but I kind of like this one because of the fact that it's droppable, and then the third is like kind of wide. I like how there's like one path. I quite enjoy this map right now. I think it's really cool. Even the placement of the watchtower is interesting. Kind of a fresh map to be playing right now.
We needed a map that was radically different from the other maps.
Yeah.
I think there was a period where the maps were just a little bit too conservative.
Yeah, they're definitely, we went through that period.
Yeah.
Like,
I understand why it had to be like that. I'm not really against it, but I'm excited to see that we have a map like this that really is very different.
You know, actually, speaking of maps, and I know that you and I have talked about this a lot in the past, how maps help to like balance the game itself because you can't just consistently patch. You have to utilize maps to help with the balance. I actually wrote an article about that recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can check it out at elitemag.com, 1337mag.com.
Go there now.
Yeah,
Your
check
second
it out.
monitor.
But it's really cool to see the ways maps have been changing. Is this would it be fair to say this is your favorite map this season out of the new maps?
It is for sure. What about you? Your favorite map?
Yeah, I do like this one a little bit more than Expedition Lost. I'm still undecided on that map. It's like pretty small. It's definitely got interesting pieces, but I'm a little bit undecided
The
still
games
there.
that have been produced here on this map, and there's so many different ways the games can go. The gold base out in that odd location, the backdoor expansion here, the fact that even if you are on 3 bases, it's still you're very droppable on this map. So there's a lot of cool little features that really get me excited. I need to find out if we're actually giving away medium for free now. I don't know.
We must be.
Or we're really trolling the viewers right now.
Oh.
It's like, thanks for me. What was the code again? Thanks for medium.
Thanks for medium.
Thanks for medium. Some nerd downloads it. It's like losing his mind. Like, no, it's too low.
I'm like, I don't know, your computer's bugged. Reinstall your operating
You can't
system.
do this, GSL. I'll find a way to stop you. Looks like the Reaper's going to get zoned back out. But did get some scouting done.
Yeah,
Robo Bay
certainly.
almost finished.
Very important to see that.
That was tucked away in such a location that he was really hoping that there would be no way for MarineKing to see that, but he got in there anyways. That's actually not a very convenient location to put your Robo Bay, by the way.
Hey, by the way, yeah, no, it truly is not. It's kind of annoying. I guess Colossus won't have a hard time getting out of there, but I guess the Immortal will fit out too. But still, it's kind of a funny place.
It's a bit removed, yeah.
I guess it won't get sniped easily. That's one thing we can say.
That's
but
that's a good spin on that.
Yeah. This is really interesting that he's getting a Raven and a Siege tank right off the bat, isn't it?
It is. It looks like we're seeing the 111 remix right now.
Yeah. Although he does have another command center.
That's what I was saying. He's got the command center there, and then maybe you do this, and then you pull more SCVs later.
Oh,
I don't know.
Brilliant. You've got it, Tasteless.
Yeah, I solved it. I solved the strat.
By the way, I do want to point something out here because, as I was mentioning before, Patience generally is pretty cheesy, pretty aggressive. This game, he's doing the most standard macro opening that there is in the entire game. So, wow, and he just wanted that one Raven. Oh, okay. He wants that to help kill off observers and whatnot.
Oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And it's not like point defense drone is bad. It's good against Protoss.
And Notice the caution here of Patience. That was babysitting this observer coming up here.
Would it be fair to say that he's patiently scouting?
I don't know if you could say patiently scouting. I think you'd say cautiously scouting, actually.
Okay.
I don't know if
All
I
right,
can let's use that word.
I was just
I don't know
checking.
if I can let's use that word, actually. But
No, I was asking your opinion on it.
his build order,
You're the one
though,
that made the statement.
Yeah, you're right.
I neither agree nor disagree as far as anyone knows.
He did get that observer, by the way. So
Wasn't cautious enough,
No,
was
wasn't
it?
cautious
Maybe
enough
he
at
should
all.
have been more patient.
Is he actually going to push out across the map?
It looks like
This
it.
is a 1-1.
Kind of.
It's a 2-2-2.
It's at least a 1-1-1 push by definition. Off of one barracks, one factory, and one Stargate, he is doing a small push. The one problem here is how late Thermalance started. He delayed that to get quicker blink and +1 armor, which is totally fine and pretty much how you should play in this matchup. Except in this case, against this army, you really want range more than anything in the whole
because
world.
they both expanded, you actually could do it. You
Yeah.
could do a killing blow with this for sure. Even though it looks like there's lots of builds that could stop this,
Yeah.
Protoss didn't necessarily do the build that could stop this. So we'll see
yeah.
how much headway he actually gets here.
Well, either luckily or by design, Patience has placed his buildings in such a manner that they can't be hit from the low ground on siege tanks.
Very good observation there.
Yeah, and that's,
Had the
he
robo
may have had this planned like this. Either way, fantastic building placement, making this push pretty obsolete.
Yeah, normally we see it a lot in TvT too. When people push down here, they siege up on the low ground and try to hit the structures that are producing, like factories, or in this case for Protoss, it'd be gateways or a robo. But yeah, I mean, Patience, I believe it would be by design, just by the placement of everything so far, that he is completely
I would say so.
turtled up.
Well, he's been playing very well recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if he had, like... It's obvious that he's practicing very heavily right now, based on even just his recent runs in some online tournaments. Of course, as I said, the qualify for IM was so stacked. He went through some fantastic Terrans like Kure and Gumiho. So definitely showing a lot of skill here, and this is completely a macro build. So I'm liking it, man. It's cool.
Map hacks. Pause the game.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I can't believe these map hacking into GSL. This is a very good pick. That is...
Maybe he's got the stream on his phone and it's in medium, so he saw where that was leaving. Oh, nice pick off there with those stalkers.
Yeah.
Really good move by Patience.
Blink out and blink back in there.
Yeah.
Well, MarineKing has his position. He doesn't want to give it up, but he wasn't really able to do much with this to begin with. And unfortunately, actually walking away from this, as if you're MarineKing, you will probably be killed. Protoss will just come up and kill you with the Stalkers and Colossus. So this is a funny spot. He doesn't have enough medevacs to pick up and boost to get away. He doesn't...
He seems rather committed.
Well, I think he has to be, though. But unfortunately, I don't know how helpful that's going to be. I feel like in the long run, Protoss is going to burst out of here with a pretty tough army. But let's see how this game goes. It's not an easy engagement for Protoss.
He's like, he's slowing him down. Like, this is a nice contain, and normally you definitely have your third by now. With this build, you absolutely would have your third by now. So he's done a good job in that regard, but you're very right. I don't know how he gets away with this. I think he's already overstayed his welcome, hasn't he?
I think so, but this number of Marauders might...
That could definitely change things, you're right.
Make me eat my words here. Oh, God.
Oh, man, if he doesn't have any Vikings... Like, siege tanks do well against Colossus, but you need Vikings to back them up. So, definitely gonna really punish him losing already like 3 or 4 Vikings this game.
This is not a normal PvT.
No, it's very different.
This is totally...
And actually, for that reason, I love it. I love that Patience is doing, like, literally the exact build that I do every game.
The blink on top.
Oh, man.
Wait, those do a lot of damage anyways. I guess I didn't need to do that.
But, he's doing this, and he's hitting, like, a very different type of strategy. But here he goes. It looks like he's decided he is going to start to bust out down here. It looks like very quickly these siege tanks are going to be taken out. Only one left over.
Yeah, that siege tank not quite in range for those immortals up there. And this is where the pursuit is going to begin. And really, like I was saying, Terran can't really effectively run away here. The Stalkers have blink, as you can see here.
He's picking off a lot, man. Like, the siege tanks were reasonably effective there, and
Thing is, the siege tanks lose equity as the game goes on. So
they certainly do, unless you're going mech, in which they gain equity.
Yes, as the strongest unit comp in the game.
Well,
most
most cost efficient. Some call it. I don't know. It matters who you ask, I guess.
He is going to try to actually attack in here now.
But yeah, it seems like his third base has been so delayed, and he's been forced to make so many units. He has 4 immortals. Is there going to be a better time to attack than now?
With the sentries there too, force fielding off the ramp and everything, Guardian Shield. I would actually say he probably should. Well, maybe not.
I feel like I would definitely try a little push and see, kind of try to see where I'm at the beginning of the push and maybe pull back. But
he does have Zealot legs too, so he can get right in there.
You know, I don't mind this move that he's doing. The fact that he's not attacking, I'm like gaining like some massive respect for how he's playing out this game in particular. Because of course, you know, I mentioned before, he's normally pretty aggressive, normally pretty cheesy. Of course, he can play macro games and does mix those in as well.
Sure. As any good cheeser has to be able to do.
Yeah.
You can't just cheese. Even SOS can play the most standard game and look fine.
But yeah, the fact that he pulled back here and he's waiting for Psystorm, like he's going to win this game. Psystorm will win this game for him. Against his SCV pull, there's no way.
Yeah, the boys have been pulled. But I think you're right, Artosa. Psystorm should just melt this, right?
The fact that, you know, he got up to a nice unit composition, took no damage other than the fact that his third was delayed and could get Psystorm before an engagement. The pullback was very smart because Psystorm defensively is the most ridiculous thing that there is.
Psystorm's being blanketed down now. He might want to... Okay, some of those storms might have been a little bit too soon, but let's see. Nexus Cannon's been triggered. Nexus taking some damage. Colossi goes down here. There's 4 Immortals here in the back, which is going to make quick work of these Marauders, but... well, hold on. It looks like the Archons are actually doing enough splash damage. Yeah, he's going to be totally fine.
With the Archons morphing in and the fact that he had 4 Immortals, like, the Psystorms were good enough, the Colossus Beams were good enough, and this is, like, I love this position. If you notice,
a lot of the SCVs that were coming with that pull weren't even in the battle yet when he engaged. He has 6 SCVs headed northbound right now. This game, by the way, should be over. Protoss, there's no way that Protoss can be stopped from, I mean, not even just taking out this, you know, front yard base, I guess you could call it, but actually just going up into the main.
Yeah, and then eventually into the backyard base, of
You
course.
want to know something funny? Actually, I'll get to it right after this game, but I have a little story with that thing. That term I just used there, which is kind of a wonky...
Front yard base?
Front yard base.
No, people use that all the time.
All the time, yeah. Actually, that one in the back we call the balcony base over there.
The veranda base. His summer home over at the Gold Minerals. His waterfront property on the left.
Zealot Archon can close this out now.
Yeah. With 4 Immortals, once you lose your Colossus, if you like just go into charge lot with Archon Immortal, it's pretty darn strong. Really pounds through non-perfect comps from Terran. So he is just crushing through there, and we're gonna have to see GG from MarineKing.
Yeah, the command center is going to be obliterated, as will the SCVs underneath it. Archon now squashing that force field as, you know, Patience does move in here. Close in on the production facilities. There's nothing MarineKing can do. GG.
Well played by Patience, I have to say. I really liked the kind of creative strategy from MarineKing.
Yeah.
But his tanks were way up close by when Patience attack down, and if your tanks aren't back, like you have to, if you're going to do something like that, your tanks must be in a position where the first time units can shoot at them are when they're on the ramp or below the ramp, and so that everything bottlenecks. Instead, he got so many shots from the high ground, like the tank range meant nothing. The fact that they did splash meant nothing. They were just like another unit.
It did seem as though that strategy was hinged upon the concept of displaced structures in the main from Patience. It did not seem like a very valid strategy coming from MarineKing. When we saw that he sieged up on the low ground and waited and did not have a real plan, that's when I was getting a little bit worried. Had MarineKing fully intended to push up into the main and do damage, I might be giving him a little bit more credit, but that is an odd strategy.
Yeah.
If your strategy is based off of your opponent making a mistake that really they could prepare for.
Yeah. A blunderous attack.
And that's not even like a tech choice, that's like a building placement choice. And really, most Protosses nowadays hug around the minerals anyways.
Yeah.
It's not like Protoss is...
Nexus Cannon pretty good, I heard.
Yeah, so it's already set up for a playstyle that Protosses are prepared for. So a little bit questionable there by MarineKing to use that strat. Chewing some bubblegum now.
One of our gum chewers,
One of our gum chewers.
Did see Alicia, actually, in that booth with Patience. One of my favorite Protosses of all time.
Great player.
Yeah. I miss Alicia, actually.
King Sejong Station is going to be map number 2. Let's see what MarineKing opens with here. Also, keep in mind, we were saying before, Patience is a pretty cheesy Protoss. That wasn't a lie. Although last game he was like concrete, solid standard.
Yeah, that was a really, I mean, he showed that he's like, hey, I know how to do the macro too.
And we are now going to go into game number 2. Old school MarineKing against, I think, what everybody would view to be the underdog Patience. No!
You know, I want to
we're on camera.
Jump back and mention again about the fact that he chose to go for a macro game. Like, MarineKing has shown the vast majority of his strength in TvP defending very aggressive builds, and he's shown the vast majority of his weakness in TvP as playing against someone that's just a defensive macro player.
Yeah.
Like, even the fact that he didn't hit MarineKing after killing all those siege tanks, in fact, he just pulled back and got Sidestorm, was like, okay, try to kill him and you can't do it. Like, really shows that Patience is prepared well for specifically this player.
Yeah, Patience certainly very well prepared. I don't know, that last game was kind of weird. Just the strat pick there from MarineKing. I think if Patience keeps this up, he should be in good shape. Probably win this.
If he keeps playing defensive macro games, I think that's really the key to beating MarineKing. He gets over-aggressive at times.
MarineKing he's very good, but he's oftentimes one of these players who's all over the place. He's either kicking ass or he's dying. You know,
kicking ass, chewing bubblegum.
Yeah, just like Duke Nukem, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever play that game when you were a kid?
Oh, it was like my favorite game. I love
They had naked ladies in those games, man. Remember that? Like,
yes,
way
I
long ago. I was
that.
like, oh my god, if my mom finds out that I have this on my PC, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
MVP MarineKing.
It was such a fun game, though. I loved it.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Did the sequel ever come out?
Duke Nukem Forever?
Yeah, bottom right in the blue.
Dead Pixels Patience.
I know that it became a meme on the internet.
Yeah, because it was like people had like pre-ordered it, and it was still like 8 years later. It wasn't out.
Yeah, it's like Half-Life 3 or something. It's just like, we don't know, guys.
We don't know if it's ever going to
I don't know. It might have come out. That's actually interesting.
We should check into that.
I'm sure someone will tweet at us, Artosis and Call Me Tasis on Twitter. Please let us know.
All right, story time. So you know I called it the front yard expansion? That actually, for those of you guys who haven't been watching actually, even for those of you who've been watching since the beginning of GSL, I was working on an esports show way long ago called Arirang TV, and the show was actually just called esports. This is like
it's a really
7
creative
years
name.
ago. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I didn't name the show. I'm much happier working at this network now. But they had I did a lot of voice acting, some commentary, but some voice acting on that show. And so they'd give me these scripts that the writers had written. Obviously, here we don't actually have writers, but at this time it was 30-minute episodes that would air. And probably networks that most people out there, or channels most people don't have that are watching. But it was like a lot of stuff in Southeast Asia. Places like Indonesia, Thailand, we get it.
Anytime I go to Southeast Asia, actually, that's one of the English channels there.
The show aired at about midnight, but anyways, I had this writer, and I would get these scripts that were technically correct in English, but just not using any terms that I had ever really heard before.
Yeah,
for an RTS.
No natural lingo.
No RTS lingo, and they didn't want me to ever change what the writer had written. So I would read these scripts, being like, well, the front yard base, there was like a backyard base. There was all these terms.
This actually, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because you know what that means? That has to be like a translation of the way that Koreans call them.
Yeah.
So I guess that they call them like front yard. The thing is, the way it evolved in English was the natural.
Yeah, the most natural location you would expand to.
That's the nat or the natural or the natural expansion or the first expansion, some people call it. The people that are not as clever. But that's actually kind of interesting. Well, I never really looked into that. By the way, this Devil Probe. But yeah, it's Is there any other cool terms like that you had to use that were a little bit
there are
weird?
a couple. I don't remember all of them, but I was trying to explain to the writers at the time, the PD. I was like, well, these are really just terms we'd use for housing and real estate. You don't really ever call anything the front yard is literally means the front yard of somebody's house.
Yeah.
You know, backyard means the backyard of somebody's house, but
which makes sense why that would be the translation, right?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That definitely, like, if
essentially, like, you could look at it one way, like the expansion is actually just like the front lawn.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
garden gnomes are out there and bird bath and stuff.
In StarCraft 1, like, it became a professional game in Korea quite quickly, and commentators, whatever they said is pretty much what everything became as far as lingo.
Yeah, locked
right?
in pretty quickly.
Whereas English commentary for StarCraft and RTS was so much later that basically everything already had names because of the online hardcore pro gaming / competitive community.
So you had all the technical terms, that jargon came in when English commentary started to occur, which basically came down to you and me. Casting Brood War, you and me and a few others. Klazart too.
Yeah.
Way back when.
Yeah.
By the way, this is
poke fantastic.
This is pretty impressive.
His against a CC first, I love players that will just micro the hell out of their probe and just put damage on SCVs. Every now and then you get one. Normally you just put damage on, but to follow it up like this, he killed 2 SCVs. That's fantastic. He has 2 SCV kills in this game. You know how different it is this early on to have 2 more SCVs? It's a big deal.
That's what it feels like when you're against a good pro gamer, man.
Yeah.
Is when they're just doing damage at every single turn.
Yeah.
Constantly slowing you down. By the way, we have Stim on the way now. Terran's going to be turtled up until Stim's done. We also need the medevacs to come into play. He did do a build where he got more barracks earlier on, so medevacs are going to be much later this game.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have just the same build as last game from Patience. Not 100% yet. He hasn't added the tech, but I would imagine that he's just going to throw down a robotics support bay here in a minute. Oh, no, never mind. It looks like he's going to go something Immortal-based here. 2 gates and an Immortal. Like, this could just be for safety because it's CC first. Like, sometimes you want to get your Colossus a little bit later, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but really it's their first push that you're super scared of. Oh, wow, another SCV kill.
That Stalker only losing shields, by the way. It's been harassing this whole game.
Yeah. He's got a kill. Mothership Core has a couple kills. I wonder if... Oh, okay, this is just going to turn into a Immortal push, I think.
Why not,
This
right?
could work out really well because the thing is MarineKing is attacking him. So first off, he's going to have way more units than MarineKing anticipates. And if he traps and kills a decent chunk of those units, the counterattack just wins because he has Immortals. You won't have enough firepower to stop it.
Nice reaction time and getting that Stalker back there. Every unit counts in a little push like this, so
Oh,
even
wow.
if that Stalker just absorbs a few other concussion shells, it's pretty big. Maybe a bit too preemptive there on the...
He's trying to show a Void Ray.
Oh, this is cool.
Patience. Patience playing really well, man. I love it.
This is the best way to mislead him, too.
Yeah.
A Void Ray is going to make you think this is going to be a much more passive game. Now,
He gets him to stim. Not the force fields he was looking for, unfortunately. If he had gotten like 3 or 4 more units there, we'd have to get close to calling this game. Like that would be so deadly. But
he still might be able to do a push coming up here.
Oh yeah,
production is just now kicking in from the 3rd base, and Patience, since he didn't take a 3rd base, he's really maximized the production on 2 bases here. So
he's going to a 4th Immortals aceless, and he's got 9 sentries. Like this guy is he's playing some PvZ here. This is like a push to kill a 3-base Zerg, man.
Yeah.
This is such a scary army.
And he is making a beeline right over to this 3rd base. This base will probably have to be lifted if it can even finish in time here.
He's going to have to cancel it.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. If he has to try to push, even if he tries to push back, then force fields are going to lock up the parts of the army. He's going to lose that way. Oh my God, he's going to try to keep it.
Oh, and he just finishes in time, but he did have to commit quite heavily forward. We have some pretty good force fields there. A time warp going down as well.
More Stalkers coming up here now. Going to be able to do a lot more damage. I believe there's no more available force fields.
Yeah, he lost like 8 sentries there, so this may not end up working out for him, really. Stim plus medevacs,
yeah,
that's over.
Well, we have one more Immortal coming up here.
Really good hold there by MarineKing, and that's got to be, if he doesn't like kill off this entire army right now, maybe.
My God!
Patience might still be able to do something here.
Yeah.
If he loses this army, though, the game is over. It's like,
well, he's going to keep pressing forward, actually.
Yeah.
I like it.
He's already killed a decent amount of SCVs here. A lot of SCVs did have to get pulled for that. It was a really good reaction from MarineKing. He's really giving himself a shot.
If he forced a lip here, that's going to be huge. Whoa, you got to bring that. Good targeting there. He did target down that Immortal. That's what he had to do.
All right, going to hightail it out of here with these Stalkers. Remember, he has no splash damage, so even though he's hurt the economy a lot, Medivacs plus stimmed units just beat gateway units no matter how you
know what he's
chop
planning?
it.
He's going to hit the front up here, and this is totally where MarineKing is not going to be. And initially I didn't know how I felt about this, but now that I see that he really did win the position game while all this fighting was going on, he just set up an army in a completely different location. This is working out very nicely.
Certainly is so far. Picks off a little bit. A Widowmine could definitely come into play a little bit as well. I don't see it. Oh, wait, no, he does have an Observer right there. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, he does. That's actually just right, like, brazenly over the army there. He doesn't seem to care, though.
I don't know if he has enough to really do anything here, though.
The problem is there's no Immortals in this army.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this just goes back to that initial attack. In fact, he might need to tap out in a second here.
Yeah, once you lose the army, that's it. There's nothing at home. No splash to stop this. So
GG.
All right, that was actually pretty nice. Like, MarineKing was very on top of pulling his SCVs and stimming forward and like hitting him, not letting him like peel off pieces of the army, but instead that was the most open based on where Patience was on the map. Everything from there forward got like chokier and chokier.
Yeah.
Thinner and thinner, where force fields become more and more powerful.
If you notice, actually, Patience doesn't have the best force fields in the business. He had a little bit too many casts back there, so that when the first wave of force fields was done, there actually wasn't any energy left at all on the sentries. And he had, I think, 7 or 8 sentries in that. So
at one point, he had like 11 sentries.
Did he?
But,
okay.
I mean, they fell pretty quickly there as well. Like, the force fields were not perfect, that is for sure, because he let too many units in to kill those sentries as well. But it was hard. Like, MarineKing was super decisive there.
He really was.
That's exactly how you have to play against something like that. You have to make your move and make it strongly and quickly, and if you're a second off, you're going to lose. So, well done. These two are...
it's a great
They're
match.
matching up very well.
I'm really enjoying this match between these two.
Yeah.
I do feel like Patience is... I like the way he's thinking about the games.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool when he had that other army set up on the other side. Unfortunately, MarineKing had a full depot wall.
Yeah.
If the depot wall was not there, that might have gone very differently.
Yeah, if he could actually get his Zealots on the army to get some damage done. Instead, they're just tanking. But, well, it didn't work out for Patience. It was an interesting try. But, yeah, those Immortal pushes, you got to hit them in just the right spot.
You really do. So it's 1-1. That means it's basically turned into a best-of-3 now. The next map is going to be on Iron Fortress, one of the newer maps that we have out of all the maps here.
Ooh, yeah, it's I've actually gotten to play on this map quite a bit now.
What are your thoughts?
I actually don't care for it. It's like third base is kind of a little bit wonky to defend. Not that bad, but it's big. It's 4-player. Has a lot of things about it that I don't care for as much. I think once you get over 3-player, it becomes almost random with the scouting.
Who do you think wins then on this?
I think the fact that Patience did not thumb this down, I think he's going to win it. Like, Protosses have been getting rid of this map pretty often. So it could be just that he hates merry-go-round, or he thinks that MarineKing's good at merry-go-round, or he's bad at merry-go-round. Any of those things could be the case.
Combination of all three, something like that.
But I'm leaning towards Patience. This map seems difficult.
We're now going to go into game number 3 here. Tied up right now, MarineKing against Patience. In the bottom left, winning the previous game there, game number 2. He is
MVP MarineKing.
Slow Gumshoe. Keep those lips moist. The bottom right in the blue.
Dead Pixels Patience.
That's like the face my dog makes a lot, like your little tongue sticking out a little bit.
Thank you for coming down.
Hope that you're enjoying.
We bumped into that gentleman in the subway.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, man, nice guy. Very tall guy.
Yeah, he's quite tall.
Massive guy, man. Like the mountain in Game of Thrones.
Oh, man.
You watched all 4 episodes.
We probably shouldn't.
I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to say anything.
It's
I'm not
too
going to say
early.
anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Afterwards, we'll talk.
Afterwards.
I forgot that we needed to talk about that
We have
today.
not-
I promised you I would
That's so
have
funny
watched
because
by today.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the viewers are freaking out thinking we're going to, say spoilers.
No, we aren't. Oh,
Yeah.
we would never do that. Some of the older movies, we would do that on. Like, for instance,
Like Darth Vader. Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's dad.
Isn't that crazy?
Spoiler alert, guys, in case you haven't seen Star Wars yet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
That guy in
caught me
Sixth
off
Sense
guard.
is dead all along.
Actually, I'm trying to think back the first time I saw that movie as a child. I think I didn't see it coming. Like, obviously, I was a child, and that was like a new...
I was like, that's crazy. That's his dad?
Whoa!
Weird.
I'm like, Dad, why aren't you a dark Jedi? It's like,
Like, Dad, look, I'll join the dark side. Just give me the keys to the Death Star. Well, we have a passive opener here from MarineKing, really focused on economics.
Yeah.
He wants to get a lead here. I'm not surprised he did it on this map either. This is a pretty big map.
He's a player that really likes CC first also. Like, this is... I wouldn't be surprised if we see it 3 times in best of 5 from him. He can be greedy like that. He's always been that way.
So, the location for the two parties here, Patience might have a good timing to come in here and do some damage.
Maybe.
It's not that far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff you can do on this map.
We've seen
Slip
like
a
a
warp
lot
prism to
of
main or something.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that actually. Like fast warp prism with Colossus here into a 2-base push. That's been a very popular build on this map. Wouldn't be surprised if Patience want to do something like that. It's kind of up his normal PvT alley a little bit more. And it seems to be a strong strategy on the map, since on the few times we've seen this map, we've seen that multiple times. But
this map was guys, this map was actually in the pool last season, but we just never saw really any games on it until the finals, or I believe the semifinals. So it's been around a lot. Players had strats on it, but they always vetoed it. Then we put more maps in here, and so this was the map that was less likely to be vetoed. There's a cooling tower there, by the way.
a cooling tower.
Does this map look like it needs cooling? I think that's the big question.
It's like a desert. So during the day probably, but at night, absolutely not.
Absolutely
it gets
not.
cold in the desert at night.
Gets chilly. That Robo is going to finish, so let's see if he actually does do some kind of a drop play coming up here.
It seems like a pretty similar opening so far. He's been really preferring these Robo openings today. Oh, a third Nexus hidden. Okay, I was wondering what that probe was up there for.
Like 1999? Wow, okay, so we're going to see this strat over
1999.
here. This is... it's funny because you could do this in Brood War a lot more effectively, and therefore it was a viable strat. Whereas in StarCraft II, it's much, much, much less viable.
Yeah, but people scout for it not that often.
That's
so
true. You're playing outside the meta.
When I want to actually, I wish that I could just like have all the data from all GSL games ever in a computer that I could like type something to, because I feel like when we see hidden expands in GSL, they work more often than they don't.
That's true.
It feels that way.
Hidden expands were actually only popular in GSL in Season 1 and 2. And then people just stopped doing
They've been very rare, but when we do see them from time to time, like
and
1 to 2 a season. And
well, the funny thing about a big map like this, to kind of go off what you were saying, Artosis, is that the odds of MarineKing checking any part of the northern half of the map is so low. There's just no... It's just so unlikely for him to actually go up there. And even if he sets a medevac around, to go all the way up that high and pass through that area is pretty low. So what happens when you take a hidden base is a lot of times one player, the player who doesn't know about the hidden base, miscalculates where his opponent is economically and just assumes he's organically gotten himself into a lead and starts to play very patiently, oftentimes letting the opposing player take a much later third base when actually the other player is ahead for most of the time. Now, we do have an attack coming up here, and this might actually do a lot more damage than...
by the way, the Hallucinator Mortal, I think he might be trying to fake an Immortal push again, because he made an Immortal, which is totally reasonable in this type of situation, but he hallucinated one as well. So if you see that, you might be like, oh, maybe he's doing the same thing. Maybe you play a little bit defensively then.
Oh, wow. He's going to try to get that Immortal. The one who's in Immortal. Now, the problem is when you do a build like this, oh, that was sick.
Oh, that was a pullback and a half right there. Oh, God, he's getting to the main base.
The problem is when you do a build like this, that money that you spent to make that Nexus, well, that did not actually go towards, oh, my God. That money did not go towards making defense, which is why the Terran suddenly comes in here and does way more damage than you would ever expect.
And he really is doing a lot of damage. Very good push so far. Ooh. Commits that Immortal and loses it. Definitely wasn't worth that.
Now,
but,
you got to think, MarineKing scratching his head thinking, how the hell did I get in there and do that?
Yeah.
What is he doing wrong? Now, if MarineKing's really on top of his game, he will immediately know it is a Nexus.
Yeah, he might be able to figure that out for sure, because that was weird. Like, how few units, it's like, maybe he thinks Blink is just about to finish or is finishing right now, or maybe he thinks there must be 2 forges he hasn't seen. Those are, like, that's kind of like the range of what can be happening. That plus
what's
the
weird
Nexus.
about it, too, though, is, like, even if Blink was about to finish, there's no Stalkers, right?
Yeah, so I guess maybe he's putting on, like, oh, okay, so maybe you grabbed a couple forges very quickly.
When he saw that one Immortal was hallucinated, you know that MarineKing's thinking, what is he hiding from me? You know? If he made a fake Immortal, he clearly has no intention of attacking me for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or he'd be steering him into the right direction of being protected from Immortal. So he was trying to set that fake Immortal up as a deterrent so that MarineKing would stay back while Patience was playing the greedy game.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of the greedy game, I do want to point out that when that third Nexus finished, he wasn't mining from it or making probes from it for like a minute.
Oh, is that right?
And that is... It might have even been slightly over that, but it was enough that it's like, wow, that's a pretty big mistake to not immediately be making probes and not immediately be mining there, because, I mean, every second you're not getting those extra resources, you're actually getting really far behind. You know, he sacrificed a lot to get that. He lost extra probes, he lost extra units because he took it. So he needs to be mining out of there as quickly and as efficiently as possible.
It's time to talk about a little bit of RTS blast from the past.
Okay.
Way back in the day, obviously long before StarCraft II, and before they had the iCup servers in Brood War, there was iCup was really where foreigners and Koreans could all compete with low latency. Yeah. There was a ladder called WG Tour, which was dominated by South Americans, North Americans, and Europeans.
Yep. It was originally a French site.
It was a French site, yes, originally.
Yeah.
And this was, for a period of time for Toast and me, this was the ladder. This was where you went to ladder. This is where you went to
It was
get
like
games.
that, and then there was a Korean server, Game Eye, if you had good enough latency.
Yep, there was Game Eye as well. And
Game Bugs, but that one was...
we don't talk about Game Bugs. And there was a guy who... you could actually download the replays of the players on the ladder, too, at the time, which is pretty impressive. You can't even do that nowadays. But... there was a guy named XDS Kiwi, and this guy
Kiwi hit bases.
Yeah, and then this guy, obviously I saw this guy was winning playing random, and he's ranked #1 on the ladder. I'm like, what's his secret? So I downloaded all of his replays, and every game he just hit a base.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it took me a long time to figure that out.
I was like, are you kidding me? I watched like 40 of his games, and I'm like, he just hides a base every time, and nobody scouts it, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
this man is a fraud. His replays are right out there. He's rank 1.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing him like beat all these like top players. Some Koreans on there who are pretty good.
SCV
it's
pull
crazy.
Time.
Yeah, SCV pull time.
No, totally.
I
remember this actually.
Yeah. So it's all going to come down to this SCV pull here. As I think MarineKing's realized something weird's going on. Probably a hidden base. Probably can't get up there and kill it right now. He's going to send his SCVs here. The ghost of XDS Kiwi is having heart palpitations right now on WG Tour. Thinking I'm going to get to rank 2 right now because Trek PL might be hacking against me. And he's going to see that I got a hidden base.
Oh, my.
Oh, I love the hallucinated Colossi. This is sexy.
He's really trying to
look at this.
Save his Colossi here. All right, he needs to pick off these Vikings. ASAP needs to keep alive his Colossi. He's got quite a few of them here in a nice arc. No force fields going up. So we actually have this army getting ahead pretty quickly. Okay, there you go.
And, there's actually a surprising number of Colossi that lasted really long in that fight, but I don't believe that's enough.
he actually did a pretty darn good job between the hallucinations, the walking back, blinking forward with the stalkers.
Yeah.
Had just enough zealots to keep the army off of his soft units. Huh.
I have to say,
I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna be able to continue to hold on, but
yeah, that's the big question, right? The Colossi are incrementing out at rates of 1 at a time, so losing all of them is pretty bad. I think MarineKing could have won that, but there were 3 Colossi that remained there for long enough. I think they each got 3 volleys each.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah,
and that's enough to melt most of the Terran army. Had that gone a little bit better, or let's say, for instance, had Patience not been sharp enough to make hallucinated Colossi, I think MarineKing would have won there. But now this game goes on, and MarineKing sacked a lot of SCVs to try to get headway in that attack.
He did, but his SCV count is relatively healthy right now. He still has triple mules, so he's producing pretty well. Meanwhile, Patience, of course, he did lose his 4th base, so he's not ahead in that way. He never started 2-2, so he's not ahead in that way. All he really did was hold that attack. And I'm kind of surprised he's attacking in right now. I feel like this is definitely a little bit scary. When both players lose their armies, there's like... Terran is better with smaller amounts of units, kind of.
Yeah, Terran is almost always the best with smaller amounts of units. So I have to say, this is a questionable move.
Yeah, he's
going to come across here like this. But
in fact, I think it's just straight up MarineKing should be able to kill this army.
Yeah, well, MarineKing's actually maxed out. Patience is getting there, but look at this spread right now, and look how quickly the Terran army is just melting everything that's Protoss related here. The few remaining zealots are going to go down here.
Well, he's actually,
you know what? I spoke too soon.
He did a really good job with that.
I'm going to have to eat my words in that attack. I was pretty confident that, with that spread, he'd be able to get through there and do a lot more damage, but...
Well, I think MarineKing still kills this army and wins the game, though.
I think so.
MarineKing just has such... Well, I guess actually looking at the supply numbers, it doesn't look like he has such an advantage, but his production is really on key right now.
Well, he's going to come forward now. There's a few sentries here. Let's see if he can get a good Guardian Shield and some force fields off here. It does seem like it's actually a fairly even fight now. It's 138 to 150.
Pretty darn close. When this 3rd Colossi joins up, that's going to be a big, big deal.
He needs to get that injured Colossi to the back, man.
Yeah. Needs to be very careful with that. This is really very much about just keeping those Colossi alive, and he's warped enough zealots at this point. Still has this Archon. In fact, he has a time warp, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a time warp right there. Stalker's blinking forward here. Now, there's some Vikings out here, but they're not doing damage necessarily fast enough. It looks like the Archon over here still doing a lot of splash damage up in the front and running over those.
That was good.
Nicely done. Patience is going to take this now.
I didn't think he was going to be able to punch through this army twice.
Honestly, I didn't think so either, but...
Yeah. I don't know why this missile turret's flanking him.
He actually is living up to his ID here. I mean, really calm, controlled play.
He's playing, this is actually some of my favorite StarCraft I've ever seen him play, and he's had, very deep runs, such as DreamHack quite a while ago, and, has done decently over in Europe in various tournaments, done well in qualifiers over here, but this is really, I think he's playing really well against MarineKing. I'm quite impressed with his control, with his execution.
Also, I want to point out, I love that he didn't go up to the 3rd. He actually pushed right through the 2nd. He can go up into the main now because the 3rd was pretty well fortified. The buildings were set up in kind of a clunky way. So pushing up into here, all he has to do is get on top of the barracks, and the game is done. That is checkmate.
Yeah. He's really done a great job of assessing these situations and making the right move. Very, very impressed with Patience here today. Wow. This guy, I'm actually looking at him oh, I think this will be a pretty good match. But I was like, no matter who won, I was like, oh, I don't know if they're going to make a splash in Code S, but I feel like the way Patience is playing, I'm like, well, this guy definitely in the right group can get round of 16.
He looks a lot better than at least I was expecting to see him in this series.
Yeah.
He's not been cheesy. He's been crafty. He's engaged properly. Even the game he lost, Game 2, I saw what he was trying to do. It wasn't quite executed as well.
Yeah.
But the intelligence was there.
Yeah. Very, very well done by him. MarineKing, you can see, blowing smaller and smaller bubbles throughout the series.
Well, good job to Patience so far. He's one game away from moving forward. I know a lot of you guys out there are MarineKing fans, but some bad news for you. He might be in a lot of trouble.
I think he is, man. Like, I think that Patience is actually just playing better StarCraft right now.
It looks like he is. It really does.
Yeah. We'll see what MarineKing brings in the next game, though. That hidden base, we just saw MarineKing learn about that hidden base. That's always a frustrating moment.
He's like, oh my God, are you serious? Well, let's see how the next two games go. We will be moving to a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll be wrapping up this best of 5 between MarineKing and Patience.